Good day. Today is October 1st, 2021. I'm going to start off with an apology today, this afternoon. My last two videos were on communications, attempt to communicate, failure to communicate, and an attempt to communicate. My apology is that I assumed that most of you watching this would either know what these words that I used mean or would have the curiosity to look them up and study further on your own. One of these words I realized months ago that very few people really knew what it meant, and it was an important word. And these other words I've realized, even though they're common, in a sense, a lot of you don't know what in the hell they mean because you've been taught in these schools to memorize things, such as even multiplications. A lot of you don't understand what 2 times 5 actually means. You just memorize it. It's the same with fractions. You don't really understand what a fraction is. If you did, you would all bail out of the banking system that we have today, which is based on borrowing at a percentage, and that borrowed money that you pay on that percentage is never created. So the central banking system, as it is set up today, and what they want to further get into, even with the Great Reset, is just extracting more and more wealth out of the bond slaves, the chattel, the members of the corporation. Okay, these 5 words: government, corporation, power of attorney, representative, and manager. First two, government and corporation versus a corporation. Government is what is, well, let me start off. My liberal friends say, well, it doesn't matter if it's a corporation, it's a government. Well, a corporation which provides services to those who are unable to manage themselves, those who cannot self-govern, cannot be self-responsible. They need a big brother. And so I'm not knocking corporations and service providers. I'm just saying that all of us don't necessarily want to be forced into having a big brother provide for us when we know that we can provide for ourselves for a lot less money, because the employees of that corporation that are collecting taxes and stuff from us are spending faster and more corruptly than what we would do if we managed our own affairs. And the perfect example is it's October 1st, and they've already extended the debt ceiling until the 18th of October. And the Democrats and the big spenders will want to extend it even further. And Janet Yellen, she wants to completely get away from any debt ceiling at all, so that they can just print up money as fast as possible because then they'll have total control. A government, what we had fought for during the Revolutionary War back in the 1700s and broke away from Great Britain, the Empire of Great Britain, the king, the royal elite, basically, as I said in my three videos ago, structure of the states of America, starting about 1887 and after that, we started to lose our self-independent governing that we had gained in the Revolutionary War. And by the time the Civil War came, as I said in my other videos, at the end of the Civil War, the 14th Amendment the federal citizenship was created, and it didn't free the slaves, it made everybody like the slaves. And you can rediscover that if you study your history, not what you learn in the communist schools, but what is kind of hidden and what I've talked about and other people, and Anne von Reitz has talked about and written great extents about our history and why we are where we are today. So anyway, getting back to a government, a self-governing, that is basically, in layman's terms, is from the foundation up. That's where the people govern. And a corporation is basically from the top down. It's an elite people who actually own that corporation that are running things, and of course they're bleeding you in order to maintain their high standard of living that is beyond most everyday people to even comprehend what it is. But then you've got all their employees of that corporation that are used to make less than average Joe, but since the 1970s, have been getting more and more money, and now they make way more money than the average Joe. And the problem with them is, I've realized in the last month or two, none of even the middle and upper management of that corporation, they all think that they are government. They don't realize that they are a corporation, and I've tried to prove this. I even, by this code compliance thing that I've been talking about on and off in some of my videos, since I acquired some property at the end of the end of January of 2021. Since the first part of May, they've been coming after me, trying to get blood out of me, suck my blood. And the reason I bring all this up is because this is what's happening to me can be, and what I've discovered and laying out in this video, you can apply it to all things in the corporation. And the latest and the biggest one is getting the jab. If you are signed up with that corporation, they can require you to get the jab because you're basically owned by the owners of that corporation. You're chattel. You're their property. And to be a member of this corporation, you have to sign up for it. You have to be part of their body politic. And that's what I meant by the reference to the Hotel California. The Hotel California is basically the man. City Hall, the corporation, which is all based on identity fraud. And on September 20th, I contacted the Sheriff's Department of the County of Pinal and attempted to have charges made to the County of Pinal for identity fraud, which is a criminal offense. And the Sergeant Benedict told me that, well, that was just my opinion. And I said, no, it's a fact. They're listed on Dun & Bradstreet as a corporation. And he just wouldn't accept that and just told me to go to the hearing and resolve it there. So right there, he is taking the side of the corporation, and the Sheriff's Department is supposed to take the side of the people. And so whether I guess eventually or soon I'll have to contact his superiors to see if that's really what they want, that they want to represent the corporation rather than the people. Now, on one of those five, at least since I'm close to that manager, the woman that I talked to that was the manager of the community development department, her business card says that she's a manager. Well, here it is. Manager, Code Compliance Manager. Now you look that up in Black's Law, and a manager is one of the people who runs a corporation, manages a corporation. It's right there in the first sentence, corporation. So that's proof right there that it's a corporation. Now this Pinal County, what they're doing on my summons, it's there too. This is a trademark. So this is actually not even a summons. They just they had it served on me, and it appears as a summons. And a summons in Black's Law is a means of acquiring jurisdiction over a party. So if I go to this hearing, they'll attempt to get jurisdiction over me. And the way they've got it written out here, it's quite obvious. It says, you have requested a date for a hearing. Well, I've been fighting it since the 1st of May that they should dismiss for lack of evidence, and they just totally ignore that. I have not requested. In fact, right here later it says one of the employees of their corporation requested a hearing. Name of person requesting hearing. So that contradicts it right there. And this Pinal County, which is what they're claiming themselves to be, and it's identity fraud, this is nothing more than a trademark. So all it says is hearing office. Now, anything. This is a kangaroo court they've set up because a lawfully court or a lawful administrative procedure is signed by a clerk. This is according to Black's law. There's a seal of the court, and there's the name of the court, and the name of the parties. Now, this does have the name of the parties. That's the only thing out of the four that it has. All it's got is this trademark, and then a hearing, and then it doesn't even have any names except for this community development department, which is actually just another trademark. And these development programs in these different counties and different cities and stuff are a way to fool the citizens of that jurisdiction or that body politic or that forum to think that they're improving their area by forcing code compliances that are above what the standards of the people are. The people in this area, 85% of them are in violation to one code or another, or many codes actually. And that's the same with any demand put on any citizens of a corporation in any jurisdiction, whether you're talking about a state of or municipality, city of. And what happens is over one generation or less, these community development improvement areas, all they do is end up taxing the people more, and within one generation, the children or the people a generation later cannot even afford to live in that area. And that's what has happened in city after city and in even states. That's why so many people are leaving the corporate state of California because they can't afford to live there anymore. Only the people, the so-called poor, that the local governments and the corporate governments are bleeding the few dwindling remaining of producers. It's just a mathematical thing that's guaranteed to failure. You cannot drain blood-suck producers past a certain point because they go out of business. So you're a fool to fall for these community development code enforcements that force everybody to continually live at a higher standard of living of what the employees of that government, corporate, private, public, private corporation are automatically getting pay raises to stay ahead of you. And then they see themselves as above you, just as all these employees that are attacking me on a civil basis, along with the sheriff's department, and they're not enforcing criminal laws. And all the cities on the West Coast, the big cities, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Portland, Seattle, are basically said that criminal law is no longer enforced. If you need something, you can go out and take it. And so all over the country, the police departments and the sheriff's departments and the powers that be are enforcing civil codes onto the people above and beyond anything else and letting the criminals go, because in a sense the people claiming to be government are the criminals because there's so much corruption involved. So, getting on to another one of those 5, representative. Whenever you appoint a representative, ask for a representative, you're giving your power of attorney to them. And all the representatives, the congressional representatives, they are all part of the corporation. Because what is a corporation? It's an incorporation of many, many. So any corporation from the bottom on up to the top is incorporated into the next step higher. So that, as I've said before, today it's City of London, which is the head corporation. That's the global corporation. And all these subdivisions, they're listed on Dunnett and Bradstreet, are just mere subdivisions, and they're incorporated into the next body above them. Like a city of is a municipality, is incorporated within the county of, which is incorporated within the state of, and that's incorporated within the federal jurisdiction in the Washington, D.C., which is just a mini brother of the City of London. And you can follow this by following the money if you can acquire that. You just follow the blood money. So when you ask for a representative type of government that you have, and this is something that I realized on my own, and hardly anybody talks about this. And it's one of the biggest news items. This is news that representative form of government today, and probably always was, where you get somebody else to represent you. So, and since they're all incorporated into the next, that power of attorney that you've signed over to them goes on and on and on and up till it gets to the owners of the corporation. And so you are chattel, you are their property. So if they want to give you a jab to help their insurance claims, they can require you, but you can get out of it by charging them with identity fraud. Because fraud is a criminal case, and that breaks any contract. That breaks the contract of the Hotel California. So, power of attorney. Power of attorney is your rights. And under the Constitution, under the original Constitution, which has been vacated since the 1700s, since the 1790s, and especially after the Civil War, because we're still under martial law. We're under a military dictatorship from the Civil War days, because it was never really over. So your power of attorney are your rights. And so when you join that corporation, you give up your rights and you acquire benefits and privileges from said corporation. And that corporation, as I said, is from the top down. So anybody trying to argue or claim Constitution this and Constitution that is barking up the wrong tree and will never get anywhere, and that's why they don't get anywhere, because practically all you people have given up your power of attorney to a representative. So that's it in a nutshell. And I went over the manager. Manager is part of somebody that helps run a corporation. So let's see. So hopefully you know a little bit more about those 5 key important words. Now, as I said, this can be used in every action that's coming down on you all from a governmental body, a body politic. And I myself, I don't think I have any contracts with them, and if I went to this so-called hearing, I would be opening myself up possibly to falling under their jurisdiction by trickery. And that's basically what this is all about. And they really can't come after me because of the way I've explained this, and it leaves the powers that be, the elite, the owners of the corporation, a way out. And that's what's been happening in the last 20 years since 9/11, by them blaming of terrorists all over, because anybody that challenges their banking percentage or whatever the corporation, the way it's set up, anybody challenges that is a terrorist to them. So I'm a foreigner to their jurisdiction, to their body politic, to their forum. But as Hotel California, they're only programmed to receive. That means they'll only look at that signed contract to get into the hotel for the night. And once you're in, you cannot leave. You can check out anytime you want, but you can never leave, except if you charge them with fraud of that contract. Of course, if you're an employee of said, or you're so far in debt that you can't leave the corporation, you're stuck. That's your life choice. You know, I've talked to a lot of people that are accepting the jab because, well, if I don't get jabbed, I lose my job. Well, you want your life? You want life of freedom? You want to be self-responsible? Or do you want to have to abide by the insurance claims of the powers that be who cannot meet their expenses from year to year, and they have to keep extending the debt? So the only way to get out of that and continue their Ponzi scheme is to start eliminating the people who are most likely to need claims against them, and welcome in a whole bunch of illegal aliens and then sign them up at that Hotel California so they can start bleeding them. And they're enticed and fooled into signing up at Hotel California for the night, and they don't have the intelligence to get out. Plus, they're young at it, you know, they're new to it, and they think they're getting benefits and entitlements. And they don't realize that they're actually selling their soul to the devil or to the corporation, or however you want to say it. That's 29 minutes. That's 30 minutes. I'll try to give you an update in a week or two. Lots going on with this and with this Ponzi scheme to get more taxes out of you. Bye.